Hi guys, welcome back. Thanks for joining me here. Throughout the course, you've seen that we have a range of different information, resources, recommended institutions and organizations to follow. We went into threat actor types of hats, red teams, areas of cybersec. It is intended to get you thinking, hence the name of the course, Adopting a Security Mindset, because I want you just to again, reinforce these principles to start thinking in the domain of cybersecurity to keep these in mind. And this lecture is always so much fun to discuss because it's intended to help be more of a thought experiment. So for those of you who are wondering what is the Kobayashi Maru, hence the name of the lecture, let's dive right in. So the Kobayashi Maru is actually a test in Star Trek. If any of you have watched the show, movies, you've probably heard of the Kobayashi Maru. Essentially designed to have every participant fail in order to teach them a specific lesson, with each participant always kind of following the same logic, that same normal logic operating within certain bounds of the test. Until Kirk comes along and does not follow this logic, thinks outside of normal logic, we can say, thinks outside the box, and essentially beats the challenge and program by doing so. So what does this have to do with cybersecurity? We can sit here and talk about Star Trek all day, no problem, but we're here to learn a little more about cybersecurity. Well, two instructors, one I believe was from West Point and the other one from Maryland University College, they devised the following. It's called Embracing the Kobayashi Maru, Why You Should Teach Your Students to Cheat by Gregory Conti and James Caroland. And I apologize if I pronounce those wrong. And I am just such a huge fan of this paper. So as we can see here, let's take a look at the challenge. The challenge that we can see, and I'll just try and read it real quickly, they put together is our variation of the Kobayashi Maru utilize a deliberately unfair exam. Write the first 100 digits of pi from memory and took place in the pilot offering of a governmental cyber warfare course. The topic of the test itself was somewhat arbitrary. We only saw a scenario that would be too challenging to meet through traditional studying. By design, students were given little advance warning for the exam. Insurrection immediately followed. Why were we giving them such an unfair exam? What conceivable purpose would it serve? Now that we had their attention, we informed the class that we had no expectation that they would actually memorize the digits of pi. We expected them to cheat. How they chose to cheat was entirely up to the student. Collaborative cheating was also encouraged, but importantly, students would fail the exam if caught. To provide an additional incentive, we offered a prize to the student who exhibited the most creative and effective cheating technique. And you guys can go on and read more about the paper. Again, it's called Embracing the Kobayashi Maru, Why You Should Teach Your Students to Cheat by Gregory Conti and James Caroland. All right, so what can we take away? And we can take away so far from this one thing. We need in this domain to teach our engineers, our developers, our testers, team members, administrators, everyone to cheat. Now, when I say to cheat, I meant to cheat in the sense of thinking as an adversary. We need to think of any way that a system can be exploited to get outside of standard, if I could place quotations, normal logic. By doing so, we can help expose threats, risks, and so much more. And this type of thinking can be such an advantage for cybersecurity professionals. So with this test, you're in a sense trying to encourage cheating, yes, to defy the conventional logic, to exploit a program. You want to have that creative thinking or just testing. We've had so many examples, even in the past few years, of people performing a random operation and breaking a system just because no one ever thought of attacking it that way. And that's what we want to encourage in the domain. I'm not saying cheat on exams, but this is an example to reinforce that type of thinking within this domain. So to wrap it up, you can find that paper for those of you who are interested. And again, I'm not saying go out and to cheat, to be clear. I'm saying we need to understand and try to adopt this mindset to find possible threats in our systems. So I really hope you enjoyed some Star Trek mixed in with this thought experiment, and I'll see you guys in the next lecture.